everybody, welcome once again to another round of our ILR F1 2019 Tier 1 TC Championship as the calendar takes us today to the Ardennes region and to the mythical Spa-Francorchamps, just over 7 kilometers each lap to the mythical circuit, some of the most famous and most history-filled pieces of tarmac we have on this layout. For example, the amazing overtake at Blanchimont from a young Max Verstappen around the outside of Felipe Nasser back in 2015, if I'm not mistaken, and of course the overtake at the incident. We've also had a few bits of drama, as for example the most recent incident involving Hülkenberg, Alonso, and the halo of Charles Leclerc. In terms of the tires, the Pirellis are available are the C3s for the softs, the mediums as the C2s, and the hards as the C1s in this 22 lap, 20-turn Belgian layout. They aren't going to last long, but let's see how our drivers perform. Taking a look at the standings, we have Shadow leading the championship with 198 points, over 100 ahead of his teammate Plexix in P2, Infamous still in P3, Heisman follows in P4, Cruisix in P5, Lehman climbs from 8 to P6, Sandinator and Curly follow him as J. Cole and JSR complete the top 10. Moving to the constructor standings, we have the Renault team leading with 293 points, as Alfa Romeo follows in P2 with 142, Racing Point in third with 137, having now the walking-based McLaren with a great sum of points after their performance at Hungary are now holding a 126 point sum so far, as Red Bull close top 5 with 108, followed by Williams, then Haas in 7th, Mercedes in 8th, Ferrari in 9th, and Toro Rosso 3 points behind closes the top 10. So with that, we can get ourselves started with our qualifying session for this Belgium Grand Prix. And of course, this is Racebug, and alongside us, as always, we have Jess. How are you doing?
I am doing good today. I always have my mic on mute. That would have been an absolute disaster. But yeah, Belgium is, well, to be honest, an iconic track. It's one of my favourites. It's one of the drivers' favourites. It has lots of iconic corners and battles, like you were speaking about earlier on. And weather may bring a spanner in the works, so we'll have to wait and see. But the lobby should be getting underway shortly. We had to wait for Kreutzitz to get to join, because he didn't join the start of the lobby. So that's why we had to make the lobby again. So, but yeah, I'm excited for this. I hope you're excited for this as well.
Yeah, I am indeed. Unfortunately, we had to restart the lobby because Cruisix got some issues, so we had to restart the lobby, unfortunately. So we are going to take a look. Once again, we might just take a look at the standings. I
Yeah.
brought up the wrong thing. Just bringing up to the chat the standings at the moment, so any of you who missed them can take a look. And while we wait for it, any bets you wanna place on, Jess, in terms of the performance of our drivers in the qualifying session?
Well, I don't know. It's gonna be really tough, because we seen last week, we see some huge surprise. We saw Lemon pull off a really dominant performance in the Williams car last week to win by quite some margin, and it was just great to see him being back on form, really. So I think I could see him on possibly trying to challenge the top, or even be on the top as well. And we know how Ray is good at qualifying, so I'll put him up there as well. And I'm going to put Kreutzitz in P3. That's going to be my prediction for today.
Oh, that's a bit bold. I see you are a girl of risk, at least this afternoon. Well, let's see how it goes. In terms of I would bet on Ray on pole. I would bet Bird P2. I would bet a front row lockout from the Mercedes. And then I'm gonna go with Shadow in no, Lehman in P3. I'm gonna go with Lehman in P3. He had an amazing performance at Hungary, but Ray and Bird weren't able to qualify due to their own issues. So
Ah.
Yeah, let's see.
Okay, let's see what happens. You never know. So sometimes I usually shoot myself in the foot in terms of qualifying situations. So hopefully we won't do that today. So yeah.
Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Of course, just waiting for the loading procedures to wrap up. And I would like to highlight once again the great performance from the McLarens in the last race. They got third and fourth, Endinator P3, J. Cole P4. So they got themselves a very good sum of points. And with that, they are still in P4 with 126 points in the constructors, but they really bridged the gap. It's only 11 points separating them from the Racing Points boys in third place. So it's starting to heat up. Of course, we are already past the half point of the season. And from second to fourth, maybe even Red Bull, they could get in the mix. Maybe Renault is out of the way, or just there's no possibility of getting to them. But that bunch of cars between second and fifth, or bunch of teams, is still all up for grabs, wouldn't you say, Jess?
Yeah, I think so. It's, well, to be honest, it's halfway through the season now, and they've got quite a while to get them in. And we've seen in real life the constructors in the midfield are quite close as well. And I just like to point out, I don't think they can hear you in the stream. I think they can only hear me.
I I have raised the volume of my microphone. Hopefully now.
Yeah, well, it was Bill that raised it. Thanks, Bill. In the chat. So, Bill, can you tell us if you can hear Racebug?
Yeah,
that'll be lovely.
I've raised the volume of my microphone, so hopefully.
They couldn't hear you at all. They couldn't hear you at all. That was the thing. But yeah, I think in the last 2 or 3 races we've had, one of us has had mic troubles or internet troubles, and we thought we would get away with that today. But anyway, getting off topic, let's get on with the race.
Yeah, so I'm going to start qualifying and just sorting out everything on my second monitor. We already have a few cars out there. Just going to get... Oh, Corporal Carrot is already out. I don't know if Corporal Carrot had a ban, a qualifying ban, but he's already out of the session. So, let's see how it goes. Hypers is saying in chat I'm a bit too quiet. I'm going to raise my volume once again. Hopefully now everything is alright. Hopefully. I apologize, guys. It's just Windows 10 has been a headache. I swear to God. I apologize, guys. But yeah, so we are on with it, and we have a bunch of cars already out there on their out laps.
Everyone's out. Literally everyone, except JSR and Krutitz. Now, just to point out a few, whilst you sort your mic, I'll go through a few reserve drivers today. So we have JSR, who's filling in for Entity today. So Entity can't make it. So JSR, who did quite well in Britain, I would expect him to have a good performance out this time about in Belgium as he's preparing for his lap. He's on the medium compound attire, and mediums tend to work out very well. And we got a new reserve driver out there today, which is Marky Mark. He's filling in for, I can't remember which Red Bull it is. Oh, it's Miss Q. That's it, Miss Q. So Miss Q can't make it tonight. So Marky Mark is filling in. It's his debut in ILR tonight. I've known him to be a very good driver, so hopefully we could see a good performance from him. We see some good performances from a lot of debutants this season, so you never know. I probably shot myself in the foot, but there we go. As he's on the hards, though, interestingly enough, Racebug.
Yes, he is on the hards. Those, I guess it's going to be a bit of just, oh god, I might have overdone it now, because people are saying much better. I wonder how much of that is the delay.
You're way too loud for me.
Yeah, you need to lower me, because instead of on the software for the streaming, I raised myself on the Windows settings. So.
All right, I'll turn you down on Discord then.
Yeah, turn me down on Discord. But yeah, as you were saying, Mark, I'm guessing it's just trying to get acclimatized, just getting a good couple laps in, try to settle in, maybe just got a bunch of fuel on board, and just doing 2 or 3 continuous laps around here, just to make sure he can hit his marks, just to get some bits of rust out of the way that are potentially either on his setup or on his limbs, maybe. But let's see how it goes for him. Of course, it's his debut. We don't know what kind of performances he's able to display, so hopefully we can be pleasantly surprised by him. In the meantime, Andy Nater got himself through the lap. Cisco is going to get himself a lap of 1:49, still needs to improve. There's both Racing Point boys and both Mercedes boys getting through as well. Ray in P2 for the time being. Marky Mark in P7. Lehman, the best of the Williams, with a 1:42.7, very close to Andy Nater's lap. And right behind him, there's one of the Ferraris, that is Jax FO. After that, there is Shadow, I believe, getting himself through the chicane, going to cross over the line. P6 for the championship leader. As after that we have JSR in Sector 2, we have Black Panther in Sector 3, Iceman is about to get his lap done, and is going to get himself 9th place for the time being. Lormans is out of the race, or the season, or the session, sorry. Lormans is out of the session. Black Panther is going to get himself through the line, also a reserve driver. He got himself 8th place in his debut at Hungary today, at least so far. 11th place is the best he can muster out of those softs. He needs to work a bit harder than that. J. Cole gets his McLaren to the top 10, demoting both Alfa Romeos out of it, as we have JSR going slowly. JSR at the moment somewhere. And yeah, he lost his car. That's about the Campus Stavalo section, I believe, as he lost his car. Maybe even Pion. Maybe he lost it at Pion because he has considerable damage, Jess.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't see what happened to JSR's car, but he seems to be struggling out there at the moment, which is not like him. But I don't think it's a track that he likes, really, to be honest. But you know, he just got to keep it steady at the moment. It's only in the early stages of qualifying. Maybe he might push a little bit too much. Oh, he's binned it in the wall, in the pit lane. So, he's taken the words right out of my mouth. And I was going to say, he has all the time in the world for qualifying. No, he doesn't now because he's out of the session. So, he's going to be starting at the back of the grid just like Corporal Carrot as well. So, yeah, not a start that JSR would have wanted, I must say.
Yeah, exactly. Especially JSR is a reserve. He didn't race last time out at Hungary, so it would be nice for him to build on the form that he got with the 4th place at Silverstone and that 7th place at Hockenheim. So it would be able for him. It would be nice for him to come back to a solid display after the absence at the Hungaroring, but unfortunately, not the greatest start. So we're going to follow Superior GR for now. He who is also one of our reserves. He hasn't showed up for a little bit. He did show up at Germany with the DNF, but before that, he also missed Great Britain. He missed Hungary. DNF'd at France. Got P12 at Austria. He hasn't gotten a single point this season. So out of his 6 starts, he finished 4, DNF'd twice, and his best result is an 11th place at Monaco, a 12th place at Austria, and 2 13th places at Spain and Canada. So not the greatest season so far for the Greek driver. Let's see if he can maybe acclimatize himself better to the Toro Rosso he's going to be driving today, and hopefully get some good results.
Yes, he's just going past no name now, a 90-degree left-hander, but it bites on the exit, so he needs to be careful there as he's now going to go past. Dolby's another one of the bottlers, and he spun, and he almost hit the wall. That was a save. That was a save from Superior GR, as I think that was a flying lap, but I'm guessing he would either have to go for another one, save his ERS, or dive it into the pit. That was lucky that he didn't get much damage from that, but that just goes to show that his car control has improved since the start of the season. So, you know, it's great to see that he didn't bottle it completely on his own and managed to get back on the track. So at least he still has some time remaining. Everyone's now on the softs. Well, obviously we don't know about the weather because only the drivers know about the weather, but it's one of those tracks, obviously it's 22 laps, I believe. The softs to mediums is where we will see the majority of people do their strategy today. We'll go about what the time they pit in a second, but I think we'll either see softs to mediums or mediums to softs today, which I think I think softs don't have that much tyre deg, but also does depend on the weather as well.
Yeah, it's obviously a very long lap. So yeah, in terms of the amount of laps, it's low in terms of the duration of the laps, but let's not forget, it's just over 7 kilometers each lap. So these tires are supposed to last 6-7 laps as Corporal Carrot is out of the session, or maybe just dropped out completely off the lobby. And we have the Kaibashimi flying lap on his 14 Haas. But as I was saying, like 7 times 7, 42, right? If my mental maths are done correctly. So it's 42 kilometers on that set of softs. It's quite a bit. So yeah, let's see how it develops. Of course, it also depends on the driving and the setup of each of our competitors today. But let's see how it goes. And yes, in terms of the strategy, a standard strategy would be pitting from softs to mediums at about lap 6 or 7. Or of course, you can do the reverse, starting on the mediums. But looks like any of the drivers won't be doing that. At least the first laps they've posted have been on the soft. So let's see how that goes. Kaibashimi is going to get himself through the line with a 44.5. Does anything catch your eye, Jess?
Not at the moment, is that we got a few people. I think we got Curly is just gonna just past No Name now, and he's about to carry on with his lap now, just past Sector 2 now. He's one of the standouts, I think, this season, who's been very, very consistent, I must say, and it'll be interesting to see how he does as he gets fully planted going through these next couple of corners. He's really starting to push it here a little bit, as I mean, most of these guys may have chosen the softer option in terms of the tyre due to the tyre deg, so they have a lot more softs to hand this weekend than the last few weekends, where obviously in Hungary we've seen a lot of people do the medium to hard strategy, so they will be going for a much harder option. But obviously we saw a lot of rain last week, but there was a wet track dry tyre challenge, if you think about it, last week. If you want to watch it after the race. But anyway, Curly comes across the line now. He's going to set another lap time, and it's a 1:43.342, so he's improved quite a bit, but he stays P5 for now. Zaydenator goes fast again with a 1:42.4.
Exactly, very good lap from Andinator, just making a bit of a revelation. I wouldn't qualify him as a top qualifier, but maybe he's just practiced a lot, or maybe he found another gear on his natural pace, or maybe the track just suits him. Nonetheless, let's see if he can defend from the challenges of his rivals, as Ray does improve by 2/10, 43 flat for the Mercedes driver. We also have Kruzix, who is currently in sector 2. Ooh, he has to bail out of last source. He lost the rear on the brakes application. That's not healthy for those tires, so he's going to have to try again later on. Blitzkrieg is going rather slowly at this point, as I'm guessing he's going to try to get started later on with his flying lap. Superior GR is going on another lap on his tires, and just taking a look at it, Iceman in the meantime got P10. Black Panther has gotten back into the pit, so he also aborted his lap. So we have a few drivers who are coming back into the pits after their laps being done. Some of them aborted their lap and went straight into the pits, like Black Panther and J. Cole. And we have Blitzkrieg going for flying lap soon. Also Kruzix after making that mistake at La Source. But we also have Marky Mark and Cisco on their out laps, about to start their flying laps, Jess.
Yeah, times are particularly close between the midfield, in particular Bird and Blitzkrieg. So I'll be interested to see that Williams can improve on his flyers. He's about to go on his flyer now, and even Curly's closing up as well. So even though Aidenator's got a comfortable gap between himself and Lemon, the gap between 3rd place and 8th place, you can't really call it. They're so close, and that's what's good about this tier. If you make one small mistake, or if you may be good at one track, but you may not be good at one track, and your rivals may take advantage of that, and it may close the championship just a little bit. As I think Shannon may get a little bit worried. This lead may go down a bit more if his rivals are ahead of him, but we'll see about that, as he's 4th place at the moment. Everyone is going into the pits at the moment, apart from Blitzkrieg, who is still on his flyer lap. Is Iceman on a lap? No, I think he's about to start one. And I think Marky Mark's on an out lap as well. So, yeah, I think the only one on a flyer is Blitzkrieg. But, Yeah, 4 minutes to go. It is anyone's game, so we'll need to watch out. This is where we'll get to the nitty-gritty stuff of qualifying, as it were. Well, we'll see the true lap times form. We haven't seen what Cisco is capable of yet. He's 6.7 seconds off the pace, and obviously it's over 107% of the time. But I'm sure he can find some more time. I'm guessing he may have struggled in the first few laps, so hopefully he can find some more time.
Yeah, exactly. The Portuguese, unfortunately, has had a disastrous season. He has only 2 points to claim as his own, so he could have been doing better, but not the greatest start of qualifying for the Ferraris as a whole, as Jax FO is also sitting in 17th. Blitzkrieg is going to nullify his lap once again. Martin Mark has got himself 9th place, and we have Cisco, who is also close to finishing up his lap. We have a bunch of drivers on their out laps, like Andy Nater, Plexits, J. Cole, Black Panther, Superior GR, and Jax FO. But let's follow the number 97, as he's going to actually he had damage on the right side of his front wing. So
yeah, I think he spun it up just past Paul, and we saw it as we were talking about him. And I didn't really want to interrupt you because you were mid-flow, but yeah, I think he got damaged from there, and he had to dive into the pits due to that. So because it's a long lap, I don't think he's going to have time to go on another lap, so I think that's game over for Cisco, which is a bit of a shame, but hopefully he can not give up and carry on when it comes to the race. So I think his main focus, Racebug, is the race now.
Yeah, let's see how it goes. I think he still has a chance, depending on how... I think if the mechanics work quickly enough, and he just gets a little bit extra of fuel on his car, so he can go a higher mode for the straight, I believe he can still make it, but let's see how it goes. Let's see, it's going to be quite tight. Jax FO starts his lap as our reserve driver gotten himself his debut at Germany with a 12th place finish, but then he got a 9th place at Hungary. So very nice job from the number 21. Let's see what he does on these Ferrari this time around. Maybe he can get the Ferraris back to the top 10 spots, which they haven't been on since that 9th place finish from Ace of Spades at Germany. Ace of Spades, who is not racing today and is exactly replaced by the man you guys see on your monitors. So let's see how it goes, as he's getting himself through a no name at the moment. Turn number 11, and it's all downhill from now on, as getting himself... We're actually going on board to see how committed he is to P1. Ooh, that's a nullification of the lap for sure, I believe. He got himself wides there. That's most likely a nullification of the lap. So, unfortunately, it is what it is. Superior GR is following through P1, but he also goes wide. Not sure if he went as wide, though, but he definitely went wide. So, we are going to jump to Andy Nater, who's also getting through P1, and you look at him, the car just feels on rails, but he has made a mistake somewhere else, because he's on 0 ERS. So I'm really just waiting for one of the front runners, so he could go on board with them and do a flying lap commentary. But yeah, Shadow has already started for a little bit. He's already up to Eau Rouge down the Camel Straight. So I was looking for someone like Lehman or Ray Ray. So let's go on board with the pole, the winner of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Let's see how it goes. He's going to get himself up through the gears, downhill on the approach to turns 3, 4 and 5 through Rouge, up through the hill, through the left of Radion, keeps the car very neatly within the white lines. DRS is now wide open, mod 4 of DRS wide open at the back, giving it all from that hybrid power unit on that back of the Williams before going hard on the brakes down to 4th gear to Lecombe, and is going now starting the downhill descent from now on until the end of the lap. He just went through the highest points of the circuit. Let's see how it goes as he gets through Bruxelles, turn number 10, a very frustrating corner. You just need to get on the power, but if you do that too early, the car might not enjoy it and you might end up facing the wrong way. Let's see how it goes as he clips the curb, and that's not the way you do it. Lehman gets himself spinning, and unfortunately he missed the wall but unfortunately for him, he's not going to have an opportunity to improve on that second place. Let's see what Ray does as his teammate Bird is out of the session. Looks like he had a collision somewhere, but let's pick up right where Lehman left off as Shadow makes an improvement to P3. Ray getting full commitment out of his Mercedes down through P1. You cannot touch the inside curb, otherwise you might find yourself on the outside wall. These curbs on the inside of turns 13, 14 and 15 actually they have a little bit of a slot where you can perhaps fit your tire and help act a bit as a railroad to help you rotate through the corner, as gets himself through Courbe Paul Frere, turn number 16 up to the gears. He needs to be careful, otherwise he'll start derating. Nonetheless, balls to the wall as he gets himself through turn 17 and 18, hard on the brakes just now into the bus stop chicane. The back end steps out a little bit, he manages to counter steer, controlling it nicely. He's going to get himself through the line, and it is P4 for the Mercedes driver for the time being. Kruzix is going to not improve enough, it's going to be P6 for him. Looks like that's how it's going to be, Jess. That's going to be 6th place for Kruzix.
Yeah, not a bad lap from them. Still time's pretty close, but I do believe Plexit, he was on a lap, but I think he had to abort that due to him validating somewhere. So yeah, that is it. And Aidenator, the McLaren driver, is on pole position with, I think Aidenator can give Lemon a run for his money tonight. I am looking forward to this. We've got three championship rivals in the top 3. It's gonna be madness, and we're gonna watch Eau Rouge and Radion very closely today to see if they don't have any collisions. Just please don't. But I'm sure they'll be all right, because most of these guys are clean drivers anyway, and we trust these guys. So yeah, so we are looking forward to this race, and it'll be interesting to see who can come out on top today.
It certainly is. One point of interest or at least a point that I find interesting, is also the fact that some of these drivers might be running time trial setups, and those are quite loose at the rear, especially when filled up with fuel. So if that is the case, we might see someone having the rear step out through the first lap up through Rouge, as the car might bottom out. Let's see how it goes. So of course we have the rundown of the top 10 with Endinator in first, Lehman P2, Shadow P3, Ray in P4, Curly P5, Kruzix in P6, Bird in P7, Blitzkrieg in P8, Mark with a good debut qualifying session in P9, and Plexits rounds up the top 10, and looks like both of us kind of bottled our
yes,
predictions.
So I predicted Lemon to it's pronounced Lemon, not Lehman, by the way. I predicted Lemon to be on pole, and he got P2. So I was close. So technically I get half a point. Joking. We bottled it, didn't we? So yeah, that's why I don't usually do predictions in ILR. But I thought I'll give it a go tonight, see what happens. But yeah, but as you can see, no rain to be seen, completely dry, unlike last week. So I'm guessing that the drivers, I think there's been a lot of rain this season, so it'll be nice to see a refreshing change of dry conditions, because rain and Spa do not mix. Remember Spa 1998, where we seen a massive crash lap 1 incident in the wet, where the race had to be restarted. So I don't think we'll see a repeat of that due to the fact there's no rain. So yeah, thank God for that. But anyway, I think usually if you start in P2, you're gonna get the better run into turn 1, because you're gonna have to be on the inside, compared to if you're in P1, you're going to be on the outside. So I think Lemon is going to have more of an advantage, because he's going to get the slipstream as well from Aidenator. So maybe starting on pole may not be the best option, but we'll see. We'll keep an eye on Lemon. But let me just look at the tyres, as we've got top 10 on the softs. They'll be pitting around, let me just get my notes. They'll be pitting around lap 6 to 7, whereas if they start on the mediums, they'll pit around about lap 15, which will be for the likes of Iceman, Lawmans, Kai Bacchini, and Jax, JSR, and Corporal Cat. Everybody else is either opted to qualify on the softs or started on the soft due to them being in the top 10. So I'll ask you, Racebug, who do you think is going to be your top 3 for the win?
My top tip for I think Lehman will be able to come in clutch and will be able to pull away from Andinator. Andinator comes in strong, but I haven't seen him just have a very dominant race pace. I've never seen him have just that sort of pace where he's just on his day and no one can stop him. Right, I've never seen that from him. I've seen very good displays, but I've never seen that kind of display from him. So I think he will falter to Lehman. He could still get a second podium in a row this season, especially and the third of the season as he got P2 at China. So maybe he can claim P2 or P3. If that's the case, Shadow will get P3 if the McLaren gets P2, and then the Nater or the reverse, right? Those are my bets. Also, a dark horse could be Ray Ray or Curly, or maybe even J. Cole, because J. Cole had an uncharacteristically bad qualifying session, only 14th place from him, and we've seen throughout the season how closely matched on pace the McLarens are. So J. Cole, I expect him to start making some positions from lights out to the checkered flag. So we have our cars getting themselves on their marks, as we have Corporal Carrot being the last one to join us. I believe he's actually already on the grid. Yeah, he got contact with someone, I believe, so he got teleported to the grid. So Kai Bashim is actually going to be the last one to get stopped on his marks.
JSR.
Oh, it's JSR? Okay, yeah, JSR at the back. Okay, so there you have it now, as we have the cars quite excited as they bounce up and down, as we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go for the Belgian Grand Prix. There's a good start from Andinator and from Lehman. Shadow is trying to take a peek at the inside. There's also Curly and Ray Ray. There's a collision between the both of them, and the Racing Point goes round. It's going to drop multiple positions now. Chaos comes loose. There is also Kai Bashiri dropping a few places as he tries to take some evasive action. We now start going uphill through Eau Rouge. Ray Ray drops down to P6. Plaxits follows in P7. Bird in P8. Kai Bashimi is out for a second race in a row. We have Blitzkrieg in P9. Let's see how it goes as we have a bit of a drag race between Plaxits, Curly and Ray Ray as they approach Lecombe. It's going to be the Mercedes with a bit of a knock as there's damage on the left front side of that wing on the Racing Point as he drops down to P6, and the chaos is still continuing as Black Panther, looking further back, is still trying to come to blows with the McLaren of J. Cole, who's trying to make up as many positions as he can. Jax FO also is going to around the outside of the Alfa Romeo. It's an Italian brand battle now as they go down the hill into Pirot. Let's see who gets the upper end, and looks like it is Black Panther taking 14th place for now, Jess.
Wow, there was a bit of carnage, I must say, but all as we've seen and of Toro, also Superior Gianos a little bit there as well, but I think we've seen our first casualty of the El Rouge Radion situation. I was saying earlier on in the stream that we will, I think the main retirements we'll probably see is around there. That is our first one, so they'll have to go through it another 21 times if they want to make it to the end of this race, which is going to be hard, but Aidenator really capitalised on that. Lemon got a good start too, but Aidenator was able to claw back just a little bit, which is able to hold on to his lead, so he's proved us wrong there, and we've seen a few people drop positions already. His Bird is going into the pits. I do believe he's got damage as well.
Yes,
I do believe Superior GR is going into the pits. And Iceman had a bit of a trouble.
Yeah, the spin coming in, coming out of the chicane. I don't know if there was contact as I was following a battle between the Ferraris and Corporal Carrot, but Iceman is lost out. I'm going to try to figure out if he has wing damage. I can't quite see from that angle, and he does not. It doesn't look like he has wing damage, so that's nice for him. Marky Mark, qualified P9, has dropped down to P11, but he's in a tasty battle with Lormans and Black Panther, and J. Cole just slightly ahead of them as Black Panther is the last of the late breakers out of that trio. He's going to maintain P10. Ooh, forces Marky Mark a bit wide, a bit naughty there, but look at Lormans, takes the switch back on all of them, and might be 3 wide as we approach Bruxelles. Oh, look at that, there is Marky Mark being a bit braver on the brakes, and he gets himself P10. The luck favors the brave, I believe is the old saying, and that was a beautiful move from Marky Mark to claim the last of the points paying positions.
What a debut overtaking move from Marky Mark. He just made it look easy, but I know him to be a bit too ambitious. He goes for moves, he goes for risks, but this time it paid off. So good on him as well. And we've got Black Panther trying to go at it again, so it's not over yet for the Danish drivers. They're still flying up there, and Plex and Curly are going at it too. There's so many battles going on in the space of a couple of laps. It is very long laps here in Spa, so they got a lot more time to try and get this together. But we're going to see if Blitzwig is going to see if he can get past Curly now, going into the bus stop chicane. Oh, they touched almost as Blitzwig spun. As DRS is enabled, but he's touched McLaren and Jayco as well. So Jayco almost made contact there. And Marky Mark's gone into the pits then. So has he got damage, I wonder? So he might have got caught up in Launchmore, I think. I'm not sure. But Super OGR's out of the session as I think Black Panther got past JSR. What a great start. He's already up into 11th from second to last. So he's trying to get the Haas sole point at the moment as they go past Al Rouge. Oh, going too wide. It's not going to be that easy. But he does it with ease as, yeah, we've got 3 cars. I think Marky Mark must have had some, he's on the hard tyre, so I'm guessing he'll go to the end of the Grand Prix, or maybe he was planning to do that anyway. I am not sure, but looking at who's gained the most positions, we've got JSR with 8, and he's a clear winner of the Supercharger. We've got Iceman who spun again. It's his second spun, which is just past the corner now to Buchel, so his tyres are not very good. He's not having a good race so far, is he?
No, he came together with Cisco. I'm not sure if there was a bit of naughtiness maybe from the Portuguese, but the truth is that they came together, and Iceman, at least he didn't complete a spin, as we have yellow flag somewhere at Pirou, maybe? It's Sector 2, and he checks that losing the wall! Pirou has been claimed another victim. He didn't do enough of its work through qualifying. That inside curb is deadly, and Jax FO has been the latest victim. Not the greatest race from Jax FO after his good display with the 9th place at Hungary. So the reserve driver struggling in these early laps of this Belgian Grand Prix.
Yeah, what a shame there for Jax FO, because he did well last week, but unfortunately he hasn't done well this week. But like we said, there's tracks that they like, tracks they don't like, and I'm guessing it's a track that Jack doesn't like, and yes, due to J. Cole's, he got collected by Iceman earlier on, so that's why J. Cole had to go into the pits. But meanwhile, there's a chase for the lead as well, and also Cruises is right behind Shadow coming up soon, but he doesn't have the pace at the moment, so it's pretty much a four-way battle, I mean, four-way for the lead at the moment, so basically, Cruz is in the back seat at the moment. He's just going to wait for this opportunity to make a move when any of these guys make a mistake, and so could Shadow as well. But Aginator won't have any advantage because he has no DRS. We got another yellow flag.
It's Black Panther. It's Black Panther.
No.
Yeah, he spun it like he spun on his own. He opened up too much the trajectory. I don't know what happened to him, but he just went too much to the left before taking turn 9. Ooh, and he now comes together with Cisco. What's going on between the Ferraris and the Alfa Romeos and coming together? That's maybe a bit of an Italian rivalry. I don't know, but yeah, they're getting feisty through these early laps. But yeah, Black Panther just lost the rear because he got his wheels on the grass because he opened up too much the trajectory. Not sure what happened to him. An unforced error from the number 2 and throws him down out of the top 10. Look at that. JSR, starting second last, is now second last in terms of the points paying position. So great performance from the reserve driver on the Haas today.
Yeah, I've told people to not underestimate JSR. He's good at race pace. Not as good at qualifying, very good at race pace. I remember in the British Grand Prix, he started out quite low as well. And he definitely got my driver of the day due to the fact that he climbed so many positions. Maybe he may do the same today, but I'm not going to jinx him anymore because otherwise I'll give him commentator's curse. So I'm going to shut up there, but he's really starting to catch up to Lawmans at the moment.
Plexus.
8th place at the moment. And Plexus is right behind Ray, going past the Camel straight as a bit of contact there. I think Ray is gone off. I think he has to let Plexus through because he's got a little bit of advantage there, but he's got a 3-second time penalty for that. So I'm guessing, is he no, he's not going to let them through. He's going to stay in front at the moment. But that was a very close call, and it was very lucky for Plexus not to get damaged there. So, but they're still going to carry on. They're still going to fight for position. Bird is up into P12, overtaking Cisco in the Ferrari there as he's still having a trouble races. Mark is pitting again, so he's on for his second stop. So he's got front wing damages again, so that's the second time. So he's not having a good race either. So which is a shame. And J. Cole's dropped down to 60. Well, obviously he had to pit quite early too. But yeah, some trouble performances for some, but some really great performances by others.
Yeah, exactly. Especially my heart is broken from J. Cole. He started P14, he was up to somewhere around P8, got collected in that collision between Blitzkrieg and an Alfa Romeo. To be honest, I would say that Blitzkrieg really didn't have much to go at that point, and when the cars are so close, you might as well just have your front wing cleared off of the back of the other car, because just a split second too early and you are smacking into him, because there's no possibility of a human being reacting that fast. So he didn't do that. He clipped the back of the Alfa Romeo. Both of them lost control, and J. Cole maybe could have been a bit more careful as well. Probably yellow flags were on. Yeah.
Hold on a minute. We've got a potential battle switch for the lead that we both missed as Lemon actually managed to take the lead from Aidenator. He must have got the move down the Kemmel Straight. So great stuff from the Williams driver, but I'm sure Aidenator is going to challenge soon. Meanwhile, Ray is still on the back of Plexus. We got another 3-second time penalty from the Alfa Romeo driver of Black Panther. So not the best to start from him, but he's got past his teammate, and we'll see.
He locked up, and had to bail out of the corner once again, so Weissman backs up to P10.
Yeah, so I think they need to get their act together if they want to get into the points, I must say, but some of the cars may be different handling. Maybe he's not finding the Alfa Romeo car to be as good at handling, because if you're a reserve driver, you don't get a choice of what car you go in. You get put into a car to the person that is not here, so and it's the luck of the draw, really. But Aidenator is going to have another chance on Lemon now, going to the bus stop chicane. He's going to go around the outside, and they touch. Shadow might take advantage of this, going to try and go around the outside, and they all go into the pits together, which is what we would have predicted anyway. But Lemon is still out, so he's going to try and do the overcut on Aidenator, Shadow, and Kreutzitz. What about Plexus? He stays out, because obviously his teammate is in the pit, so he's going to try and do the overcut as well. So we're going to see as Aidenator goes onto the medium, so does Shadow, and so does Kreutzitz. So this will be a good opportunity for Lemon. Will the overcut be powerful for the Williams driver for him to get ahead of Aidenator? We will see. They were very, very close before the pit stop, so it is anyone's game.
Well, it is going to be Aidenator, despite trying to go for the undercut, and yes, he tried to bother Lehman there, trying to slow him down a little bit, but now he's put himself on a vulnerable position. Shadow didn't get the greatest exit out of the pit lane, so he lost a couple cars length, but nonetheless, he might be able to challenge Aidenator, and both of them might lose time as they try to undercut Lehman. The spell might turn against the Witch and might get themselves losing even more time than what they are hoping to gain, as we have a battle between JSR and Lormans. The Racing Point takes the upper hand this time around over the reserve Haas driver, and Lormans, the Dutch driver, goes back up to P5, Jess.
Yeah, JSR is on a roll today, I must say. He's doing very well, and he's the one I know that does alternate strategies as well, and if I was racing, well, I'm racing on Thursday, but if I was the drivers, I would do soft to medium, because medium to soft may not work out, but maybe JSR could prove me wrong and see why medium to soft could be a viable option, as he's going to get good track position, and the mediums are starting to come to its own at the moment, and even though Aidenator is close behind, Plex is going into the pits, and Lemon stays out, so he's going to stay out for a couple of laps. Now, he's going to have a bit of danger, because he didn't pit a lap earlier. I know he's going to have fresher tyres at the end compared to his rivals, but he's going to lose so much time in his in-lap compared to Aidenator. He's going to be on fresher tyres, he's going to gain more time, but he's got to be careful that he's not under pressure with the traffic, because he's got JSR ahead of him. So, maybe let Lemon show himself in the foot, or maybe he's proved us wrong, we don't know. But, yeah, I only know that the softs, the best grip is up to about lap 7, so it is a bit of a gamble for him. But we're seeing Shadow is trying to catch up to Aidenator, but Crucis is right on the back of Shadow as well, Racebug.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, about what you were saying, I think, to be honest, Lehman might have expected this. Because, to be honest, I was saying before the race that Lehman would take first place, but I would expect him to be a bit more aggressive. The times I've seen him take the lead, he has taken it rather early in the race, sometimes even in the first lap. So I think maybe this time around he didn't do the same. Always Blitzkrieg spun, unfortunately for him, and that's a racing point. That's Sloman's, and he collects Sandinator. I saw contact. I'm not sure if Endinator got completely past him, and yeah, he did. Fortunately, the racing point was already ghosted, so no harm for the front wing of Endinator. But as I was going to say, I think Lehman tried to not waste his efforts, tried to conserve his tires just a tiny bit more, sticking behind the McLaren, and then he finally pulled the trigger on it, got the move done, but now he still has that little bit extra of tire life that allows him to go an extra lap on still a very good pace, as the top two are finally going to the pits, and then Endinator got himself, Endinator, Shadow and Crucix, all of them got past JSR. JSR a bit naughty there as he squeezed Endinator to the outside of the track. Nonetheless, no incidents, no carbon fiber broken.
No, actually, Lemon is ahead. He got the overcut done perfectly, only just though, so he's on fresher tyres as well. Could we see a repeat of last week where he dominates the rest of this race, or will Aidenator put pressure on him? I was not expecting that. He proved me wrong. Good job, Lemon. It must have been the traffic that caused him. Shadow is going to see if he's going to go to the right-hand side. He's going to take P2. Yes, he does. Into Lecon, and he does that beautifully. Control move from the runner, but he's made a mistake as Aidenator gets back and in the switchback. He's up into P2, and Prutitz is now going to try past Shadow now onto the right-hand side. Almost going into the corner of No Name. Shadow is going to take the left-hand side, and I think he defends that P3, but that could have been a great move from Shadow, but he just made that little bit of a mistake there. But some great battling from those competitors from Aidenator, Shadow and Crucis there. Brilliant job, and we'll see Plexus joining in the action soon as well, potentially. Obviously, because JSR will be going into the pits pretty soon too, and Cisco will be the last person to pit out the soft runners, and then we'll wait for the medium runners to pit as well. But look at Lemon, 2.4 seconds between him and Aidenator.
Yeah, he's done it perfectly, and of course that small battle between Shadow and Aidenator helped the Polish tremendously, as Crucix is going to have a run with the double slipstream on the Renault. The Renault is going to be forced to give the space. It's going to turn onto the inside line for the Red Bull out of the last corner. Nonetheless, he can't put the traction down quite as early as he probably preferred, and is going to have to stay put in P4 for the time being. Things are definitely hotting up, Jess, and as I was saying, Lehman did it to perfection, got himself up a second away. That allowed Shadow to challenge Endinator, as the McLaren didn't get the right to the RS, and the chaos ensued, and Lehman now has a commanding lead over the remaining of the favorites to win this race.
Yeah, but don't count our chickens before they're hatched, because we still got about 12 laps to go, so anything can happen. But anyway, we've got a midfield battle between Bird and Iceman. Iceman really needs to get a comeback here. He's still going, even though after being on those medium tyres, so he's got a bit of a point to prove here, as he defends from Bird into Lecomte, and he's going past Bouchard. Now be interested to see what happens here. Bird can challenge him at the moment. Iceman closes the door only just as Bird is trying to have a look, but there's just no space. But at least each other are giving them the space to try and go for these moves at the moment. But I think the more Shadow and Aidenator battle, the more that Lemon is going to pull away from the rest of the field. So Lemon must be loving that his rivals are battling each other, but not with him.
Yeah, exactly. Especially Lehman can now just focus on the track ahead. And we know how good he is when he finds himself alone. He has extended the gap to 3 seconds. Of course, I do believe Endinator and Shadow must start conserving ERS, not only to defend and attack from each other, but also because Kruzix is always going to get double DRS. He's always going to get, not double DRS, double slipstream. He's always going to get the DRS, unless he makes a mistake. So Kruzix, if the Renault can just stick behind the McLaren and just drain the resources out of Endinator, Kruzix can do the same to both of them. So it's a bit of a chess game, at high-speed chess game, if you can call it that, as it's going to be a very enjoyable battle for the podium finish.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. We haven't seen much podium battles as much in ILR recently. I'm glad we're going to see it. Bird is challenging for a position, but let's ignore about that, as we could potentially see a battle brewing for the podium again, but I think they're just not close enough at the moment. Shadow's just waiting for the opportunity. And so is Cruises as well, but it might be a little too late. Look at this! JSR, out of nowhere, 1.8 seconds separating them, but he has to pit as well, but we'll see. But he's starting to catch up as well, even on those older medium tyres. So the pace is there for JSR, but yeah, it is going to be absolutely tight as we're watching Cruises fighting every breath at the moment. I don't think he's playing it a bit safe at the moment, but I'm guessing that's what he wants, because if he makes a move, then he's gonna cause Shadow and Endinator to go into each other, and so is him as well, and we could get a free car pile up, and we don't want that to happen. So he's not taking much risks at the moment. If he can't make a move, he's not going to, and he wants to score as many points as possible. He's been consistently in the top 5 or 6 or so for the past couple of races. We've seen him battling quite a bit with Iceman the last few races as well, but obviously not this race, because Iceman has been struggling quite a bit, as they're all going past last thoughts at the moment. I think Shadow is closing up to Endinator more than Cruises at the moment, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. But Endinator is pulling away just a bit. He must have better straight line speed at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see how it goes between them. Of course, we also have a bit of battle. Bird got himself some nastiness down the Camel Straight in the previous lap. Iceman has now an over second gap to him. Ray is also hunting down Plexits, and JSR is just trying to survive a bit. If he could get DRS, if those 3 cars start getting a bit more reckless with how they battle each other, JSR might just start getting slipstream and DRS as Ray jumps past the Renault and moves up to P6. So good job there from the Mercedes, as we have big puffs of smoke coming out of the front of that same Mercedes. So Ray is doing his best job as the best Mercedes at the moment, and of course he pitted at the same time as Lehman, so he might have a little bit of a tire wear advantage towards the last couple laps, but of course he doesn't really have the strain that the 2nd to 4th place competitors can enjoy of at the moment. Shadow is actually letting himself drop a little bit from Endinator, so that's a bit surprising. Maybe he's forcing Kruzix, just letting me know that, hey, if you are not going to attack, you are going to maybe only get P3, because I'm gonna let Endinator go away. So maybe putting up the pressure on Kruzix to make a move to try to put himself between both of them. And yeah, it's going to be also interesting to see how those mind games are going to work out from now until the end of the race, Chess.
Yeah, but I think Corporal Carrot is ghosted a little bit there, so that's going to help the other guys. But don't forget, I think we had the new pack recently, and the lap cars are ghosted. So the lap cars are not as much trouble as previous races, which is a relief. So they're not going to get us held up as much. But they are going to get DRS still, which would have benefited Endinator soon as well. So can Kruzix lead up to his name? Not at the moment, as they're still quite behind us. Kruzix almost made a bit of a mistake there. He slid a little bit there, but unfortunately he's lost a bit of time. But luckily, no damage at all, and no trouble from Kruzix, and beautiful car controllers. We've got Iceman, who went into the pits from his medium set tyres to the set of the soft tyres, which is going to take till the end of the Grand Prix. But he's got Blitzwig right behind him as well to challenge for P12.
One interesting thing I've noticed, Kruzix, I think he might be overcooking his tires. He might be overheating his tires, because I'm looking at his steering wheel. It's difficult to see, especially you guys at home. But on the left side, sorry, on the right side of his little display on his steering wheel, you can see the tire temperatures. They are a bit higher through the middle sector than Shadows and Animators, so that's maybe why Kruzix is having difficulty going on the brakes at turns like Lecombe. He might have the brake bias too much to the rear, and that combined with the added temperatures on those tires, as he gets himself squirmy once again as the car shimmies, trying to put the power down out of turn number 20, exiting the bus stop chicane. Yeah, that might play a huge factor into the outcome of this race. Kruzix might be using the tires a little bit more than what he probably prefers, Jess.
Yeah, well, I think so. Because we saw him pushing a few laps ago when he was catching up to Shadow, but he may have pushed a little bit too soon, whereas Shadow is playing mind games and probably letting Prud's challenge his tyres a little bit. And then when Shadow gets towards the end of this Grand Prix, that is where he can start pushing. He can put more pressure on Aidenator, and he won't have time to respond, and so will Prud's as well. So, yeah, I think that's what Shadow is doing. He's saving a bit at the moment, so then when it gets to the end of the Grand Prix, he has more time. But meanwhile, his teammate Plexit is still battling Ray for pretty much most of this race so far. It's going to be interesting to see how that develops. Ray's still going. He's still hanging it in there at the moment in the Mercedes. But it is a deep constructor's battle for the Renault drivers. They really want to be out on top. And Plexit want to do his fair share of the deal as well as Shadow. So, and he's going to have more benefit of slipstream than Ray is. So he's going to have more advantage at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Especially since you touch on the Constructors' Championship. Second place is the Alfa Romeo, and they are having an absolute mare of a race today. 11th and 2nd place for Black Panther and Iceman, completely out of where they should be, or at least Iceman completely out of orders where he should be. So yeah, very very unfortunate race for Iceman. Black Panther is the reserve, but is not getting in the points today, so not too much help for the in-wheel based team, unfortunately, as we still have this trio battling for P2. Lehman has extended the lead to 5 seconds. So that's how much Lehman is making use of his tire advantage. That's just demolishingly quick pace, and yeah, I was kind of seeing it coming, because Lehman can have that ruthless pace, that ruthless aggression. Whenever he pulls the trigger, you can be sure that he's going to take it, just like Shadow is trying to do around the outside of Endinator, and he does make it stick. Beautiful maneuver there from the number 57, and he jumps past the McLaren. Up to P2 goes the championship leader, and on the other Renault, ooh, that's a big cut as Plexit adds to bailout of Lecombe and drops. He doesn't drop, he actually ends up ahead of the Mercedes, but I don't know how that one is going to play out. Maybe some reports are going to have maybe some decisions for the stewards to do after the end of the season, as Plexit gets a 5-second penalty for gaining a place. So he didn't give the place back, he gets a 5-second penalty. So I guess he had it coming, Jess.
Yes, he definitely had it coming, and you could see he gained a bit of an advantage there, and that didn't help him, and that's really going to hinder his race. But he's got to focus on the rest of the race and not dwell on what just happened, because otherwise it's not going to help him whatsoever. But you could see the mood that Shadow pulled on Aidenator was because he was being more conservative before, so I had a feeling he was being more conservative. He's not worried about Lemon in front. I don't think he's going to have the pace to win this race, Shadow. He's not going to focus on that. He's going to focus now on making sure he maintains the P2, because if he maintains P2 anyway, he's going to extend his lead in the championship. So whatever he does to extend his lead in the championship will be a good thing. So he's known as being Mr. Consistent, but he's only been off the podium a few times this season. I think one being last week, I believe. So which is a shame, but hopefully he can carry on, go back to his podium race soon, which he seems to be at the moment, and he seems to be making less mistakes at the moment. And Fruited is really He's really starting to pull the pressure on Aidenator now. I guess, I thought he was struggling, but he must have saved a little bit there to get past Aidenator.
Yeah, it was a bit of a battle into the first corner, into La Source. It was, I'm not sure what happened there, but both cars lost time to Shadow, and when I caught up to them, they were side by side into turn 1. So I guess Andy Nater lost the rear, or maybe got the rear loose, either on entry or exit of the bus stop chicane. So Kruzix was able to pounce on it, but it also lost a bit of time going side by side with Endinator to turn 1. So Shadow was able to break out of the DRS range. Let's see if Shadow can, just like Lehman, start putting up his rhythm and see what can come from it. Of course, Kruzix, I do believe he's starting to use up his tires more than what he needed, so I do believe he doesn't have the advantage in a direct matchup with Shadow, especially as Shadow is catching up to Cisco and is definitely going to get DRS into turn 1, so that just adds insult to injury, I would say, as Lehman gets the fastest lap of the race, 146.1 from the Williams driver. So yeah, just further compounding the dominating factor of his performance today.
Yeah, it's great to see, and I had faith in him since the very start. Really, I know he's been good at race pace all along, and he's been able to show that, as we saw last week in Hungary. So I was just still quite shocked though that he was able to make the overcut work, because I never seen an overcut work before, but usually if he makes it work, it's by a split second. And that really was by a split second between him and Aidenator. So it could have been anyone. But due to the fact that his in-lap was a lot faster, that probably helped him a little bit there. A lot, not his in-lap, but the laps leading into it. You know what I mean? But yeah, he was doing very well. And hopefully he doesn't get any penalties, because he's got a quite comfortable margin anyway. But I'm sure he'll be alright with that. But we've got quite a few people on the soft sides now, which will probably go for fastest lap, like JSR included, 1.4 seconds behind Curly, who has had a trouble race as well. He's been on the hards since the very start. And Jack Sefo is going on to the soft sides as well. So I think everyone has now pitted that should have been pitted. So all these guys now are going to take this to the end of the race. We've got 4 or 5 laps to go of this Grand Prix. And we need to watch out for who's going to get fastest lap, who's going to get the podium, who's going to get the last point. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, it definitely is. Now we have Bird is going to try and get the slipstream, which helps him up the pace. He's going to get slipstream into turn 1 and out of Rouge and Radion. So that's really going to help him in case he wants to get himself the fastest lap of the race. Black Panther is actually going for mode 4 of ERS to try to keep himself away down through Blanchimont, as Bird was on 0. So yeah, you can see I'm actually going to follow on board. Ooh, Black Panther getting squirmy as Ray Ray gets a 3-second penalty of his own. Also, I don't know, I think you missed it, but Kruzix had a 3-second time penalty a little bit ago. So Kruzix might not even be on the contest for the podium anymore today, which is unfortunate. I don't know if Endinator or Shadow have any penalties of their own, as we have the opportunity to witness now Bird getting a much better shape on his car coming out of the hill climb over Rouge, and Radion is going to take the slipstream DRS mode number 4, and easy peasy lemon squeezy, just a silver arrow just zooming past the Alfa Romeo, and he moves up to P9, and this might be exactly what he needs to get himself the fastest lap of the race. Let's see how that develops, as we also have JSR, who's slowly but surely closing in on iCarly. Not as much of a bang as Bird's pace, but he's putting the pressure on the Racing Points driver, and there might be an interesting battle, maybe an interesting 3-wide battle, maybe if Curly and JSR start getting side by side and Bird starts pumping out those fastest laps. Bird could perhaps catch up to these guys, and we might have a 3-wide battle for P7, Jess.
Yeah, Bird's one of those people who could do that, but 9 seconds in a few laps is going to be tight, but we haven't seen what the penalties are like. But I did check penalties for Shadow has got 1 warning. Aidenator has got no warnings, no penalties. So Shadow and Aidenator completely clean of penalties, but Aidenator has been much cleaner on the circuit. So Shadow is going to stay P2 for now. Aidenator is going to probably will pinch a position off the Red Bull of P3, so he will get a podium unless he gets a penalty, which I hope he doesn't. As and I haven't seen what Lemon's got, but I do believe he's got no penalty, so well, it doesn't matter anyway. He's already clear off the road. As JSR, he's going to try and get past Curly in the Camel Straight. He does, and that's another position gained from JSR already. Then, if I just look at positions gained, he's gained 12 positions, and he's doing very well. He's again one of our contenders for driver of the day. He's driven to perfection, and who knows, he could get a full-time seat soon, maybe.
Yeah, let's see how it goes. Of course, if someone drops out, if there's the opportunity, I would really like to see him be a regular driver on this league. He's definitely had some great strategic races. Of course, sometimes when you are pulling off the alternate strategy, you need to be clean and to make sure you are out of trouble, because if you are pulling off the alternate strategy, chances are that you are not starting in the top 10, right? So you are in a bit of the chaos, and something that's completely not your fault might end up completely destroying your race. And that's also a skill to avoid those kinds of situations, as Iceman is out of the race. Unfortunately, no safety car, because we are within 3 laps of the end of the race, but Iceman just has a bad day gone worse, and it's actually even worse than that, it's ending up sooner than expected. Kruzix has been reeling Shadow in. Maybe Shadow knows that Kruzix has the penalties, so he's not really going to bother too much. Maybe going to let... Yeah, I guess Kruzix is going to overtake him, and Kruzix is going to try to push away. Shadow is just going to keep slipstream and DRS, and Kruzix won't be able to pull away. So it would be P3 for Kruzix and P2 for Shadow at the end, especially as Endinator is not really keeping up with the other two, and unfortunately, there goes my prediction down the hill. So I was really proud that I had a good chance of making it work, but yeah, unfortunately, Endinator dropped off quite a bit. And yeah, as I was saying before the race, I haven't seen those just dominating performances from Endinator where he's just on his day and he's just settled in and nothing can stop him. He can be thrown off of his pace, I feel, sometimes. So he doesn't. Sometimes he lets maybe his emotions get the best of him. I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't or can't get as focused as others, because of course brains work differently from people to people. But yeah, something is still missing for the McLaren's performance to be one of the top. So let's see how it goes until the end of the season. What do you see, Jess? Anything that catches your eye?
Not at the moment. Shadow is really going in at the moment, but I'm guessing he's not going to try at the moment, like you said. As Aldo was almost touching from Shadow there, he may have noticed what he has done, and he may want to get past, because he may notice that Kruzix will try to pull away from Shadow more than he could, so he's going to try and make sure that he keeps up with him. He's probably not going to overtake him, but as long as he stays within that 3-second window, he's going to be absolutely fine. He's going to try his best anyway. Cisco's in the pits again, and I don't know how many stops he's done, but he's done quite a lot. So
yeah,
he's only he's only done 2, so not as much as other people. So yeah, he's still. I am impressed for the guys that have kept going. Even I think Cisco, Mark, Corporal Cat, they haven't had a good race so far, to be honest. They're still going. They're going to learn from it, and they're going to concentrate and think, right, what am I going to do next race? And for Mark's benefit, what I'm going to do in the race that I get to reserve for next. So, yeah, I think that's what they'll be thinking of. Lawman's in the pits as well. He's going to think what could have been. And I think the only person that's had, the only people that have had a trouble-free race is probably, I think I got to say, the top 7.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's really it. Especially in such a long lap, it kind of ends up being a battle of of attrition sometimes. But I do think it's interesting. I don't know if the Red Bull guys are communicating somehow, but I think that there should be, if there isn't, there should be the possibility of Marky Mark trying to let Kruzix past him, and then with the freshness of his tires to just get better traction out of corners and be able to slow down Shadow. So Marky Mark, if those two are in contact with each other, they could try to get that one done to maybe ensure that Kruzix gets P2 and also to help themselves in the constructors standings, right? The Red Bull are in the top 5, they are P5 at the moment, but they haven't scored as many points in the last few races as some of their rivals. Kruzix got P2 at Hungary, but his teammate hasn't shown up, so or hasn't gotten the performances. So unfortunately, Kruzix is in a bit of a one-man army at the moment on the on the Milton Keynes based team. So it would be nice if Marky Mark could maybe come up with a strategy to protect his teammate and help him get away from Shadow. Nonetheless, look at this, it's already lap 22. I've absolutely forgot that it is lap 22, and Leeman, yeah, it is lap 22 already, and we are going to catch up to Leeman, who is about to lap, I believe it checks FO, he's gotten up to one of the Ferraris that's actually ghosted. It looks to me like it's ghosted, it might be Cisco.
No, you get ghosted now if you are lap down.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot, because I didn't know if we had ghosting on or off for this league. So, yeah, it's going to get lapped, and there you have it, Leeman. Absolutely perfect strategic decision, sticking behind Andy Nater to conserve his tires and then blasting away onto laps to get that 1 second gap. Perfectly done, and Leeman is going to cross over the line to take home the win of the Belgium Grand Prix. Shadow is going to come home in P2. Kruzix P4 as Andy Nater claims P3 from him right at the drop of the hat. Look at that, how close was that between them? Kruzix must have had at least 2 penalties, I guess. Plexit gets P5 at the end of the day. Ray drops down to P6, despite that 5-second penalty from Plexit for not giving the place back, so that's quite interesting. JSR 19th for 7th, surely driver of the day. Curly,
I agree. I agree with that.
An Herculean effort from Curly. Look at that, 20 laps on the yards. He had to pit at about lap 3 with front wing damage, and he still clinches 8th place at the end of the day. Great performance from him. Bird gets 9. J. Cole still grabs a point in P10. Great job from him. And Blitzkrieg gets 11th, Black Panther P12, Lormans P13, Jacksefo 14th, Marky Mark 15th, Corporal Carrot 16th, Cisco 17th, as Iceman, Superior Gia, and Kabashimi were victims of the demands of this track. But yeah, J. Cole, he was in P8 when he got collected on that incident with Blitzkrieg and Iceman. Just what could have been? Both J. Cole and Lormans. Lormans was running in P5, clipped the inside of Puron, smacked himself in the wall, and J. Cole had to pit once again, had to go on hards, and still to claim P10. Just absolute performance, absolute beast performance from J. Cole.
That means another double points finish for the McLaren boys for the 2nd race in a row. So they must be doing something right, even if J. Cole got collected. He forgot his troubles earlier on in the race, and he focused on the task at hand and was getting at least a point, and he did that. So, yeah, what a race though, what a race. So many good strategic moves, so many brilliant battles from these guys. Obviously, this is the first time the PC has raced in Belgium in ILR, so we never knew what the pace of these drivers were like until we got to here, of course, and it was brilliant, absolutely great, and obviously Lemon just pulled out of the park and showed what he made of. And that means due to Shadow's P2, he extends his lead in the Drivers' Championship, and he's going to be pleased with that, surely.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, just wrapping up. Once again, Leeman got P1, Shadow P2, Andy Nater P3. You can now see the penalties for each driver as well. Kruzix gets P4, Plexit's P5, Rero P6, JSR P7. Great job from him from 19th. Definitely my driver of the day. Curly P8, Chosen Bird in P9, and J. Cole closes the top 10. So I don't have anything else to say. Do you have anything else to say about this race, Chess?
Can we have more races like this, please? Because it was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
but,
it was.
yeah, it was absolutely great. But next week they'll be going to I believe it's the Temple of Speed in Monza. And I'm really gutted to say this, but unfortunately I'm not able to make it next week because I'm busy out on a work conference that week. So unfortunately, Racebug will be on his own. But I'm sure if I have the time, if I get back from where I am, if I finish that day at a reasonable time, I may watch the end of that race, but I don't know. But I'm going to miss that because it's one of my favourite tracks as well. But I'm sure they'll put on a good show for you, Racebug.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. Of course, the slipstream trains will be insane. Let's see how that goes. As this is it for today. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, give me a like button. If you did not, the dislike button is, as always, right beside it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. Hit the like for any notifications of whenever we are about to start a live stream or to post a video. Whatever it may be. Hope to see you guys next week for the Italian Grand Prix. Hope to see you guys then. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.